Hey guys, what's up? CC Report here, and just a quick update video. It is day 3 of WNBA free agency, and things are an absolute zoo. I think that somebody finally rang the alarm clock on WNBA free agency, because the first 2 days were very uneventful, and the third day has been quite eventful. It started out this morning with Nneka Ogwumike, the news that she is now going to be returning to the Los Angeles Sparks, which was her original team of 10 years before she went to Seattle a few years ago. We received word that Azure Stevens will not return to the Sparks. We received word that Natisha Hiedeman will become a Seattle Storm. We received word that essentially the entire Atlanta Dream team is going to be re-signing with that team. We received a bunch of other news as well, but one piece of news specifically I felt warranted its own update video, and that is that Kelsey Mitchell has officially re-signed as a member of the Indiana Fever on a 1-year Supermax deal. This deal was widely presumed to be nothing more than a formality after the Fever decided to core Kelsey Mitchell. However, now that she has put pen to paper and signed that Supermax deal, she will 100% be a Fever girl for the 2026 season. This is a huge piece of the puzzle for Indy. I think that sometimes people get it twisted because Kelsey has been with the Fever for such a long time, or because sometimes her star power and her personality get lost with kind of the star power and personality of Caitlin and Aliyah Boston and Sophie Cunningham and a few other members of the team. But the fact is that Kelsey Mitchell was the best guard in the entire WNBA last season. It doesn't matter who you put up against her, Kelsey Mitchell was the better guard in the 2025 season. And just in terms of her service to the Fever in general, there is no other person, including Caitlin Clark, that is more appropriate to make the first $1 million player in Indiana Fever basketball history, other than like Tamika Catchings. But of the players that we have on the roster right now, there is no one more appropriate than Kelsey Mitchell to make the first $1 million player in Indiana Fever history, for what she has meant to the franchise, for the loyalty that she has shown the franchise since she was drafted in 2018. She has been a good soldier for the franchise through hell years, from 2018 all the way through up until 2023. She endured a 5-win season. She endured a season when Gainbridge Fieldhouse was under renovation, literally playing in a barn for home games. She has endured a ton of negativity. She's endured a ton of adversity, and she has come out the other side of it. Now the Fever are one of the flagship, if not the flagship franchise of the entire WNBA. She is now alongside the most exciting and one of the best young players in the WNBA, and she's alongside the best young big in the WNBA, two players that are going to go down in history as two of the most essential and transformational players that the game has ever seen. And Kelsey Mitchell is right there alongside them. Her statue will be in Gainbridge Courtyard alongside the statues of Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston, and well deserved. And just in terms of the season last year, when Caitlin went down with injury, when Sophie went down with injury, Kelsey Mitchell was the one who put that team on her back and carried that team all the way through to within 1 point of the WNBA Finals, and it was only after her body physically gave out on her, where she literally had not an ounce more of energy to give, and that her life was actually under threat if she continued to play that game, that she finally had to throw in the towel for the Fever. That is the type of player that we're talking about. That is the type of person that we're talking about. That is the type of soldier that we are talking about in Kelsey Mitchell, and that is who the Fever have brought back. There is no other player that is more deserving of that contract than Kelsey Mitchell is, and I'm glad that she has it. There are some people out there that are wondering why Kelsey Mitchell didn't take less than the Supermax value that she was owed so that the Fever could build a competitive team around her. The first reason is just what I said. She deserves every penny, and she should get every penny, and I think that considering who is running the Fever and the amount of history that those people have with the franchise, they recognize the value that Kelsey has brought, and they rightfully wish to honor that value. That's number one. Number two is that financially the Fever are not in a position where they have to ask Kelsey Mitchell to take a pay cut in order to field a competitive team for this year. Caitlin Clark is going to be still on her rookie deal this year. Aliyah Boston is going to be owed a max contract, but as we know, the salary cap is such that we can afford to pay a Supermax player and pay a max player and still have enough money left over to field a championship roster around her. So we still are going to be able to go out and compete for an upgrade at the 4 position. We still are going to be able to go out and compete for an upgrade at the 3 position if we wish to. Or if we wish to bring back Sophie Cunningham, we are able to do that. We've already offered an RFA contract to Lexi Hull. We will be in a position to match any offer that she receives unless it's like some sort of crazy out of market value offer. We are in a position, fortunately, where we do not have to ask Kelsey Mitchell to take less than what she's owed. And so that is all just outstanding work. This is the most important contract, the most important signing that the Fever will undertake this offseason, no matter who else they bring on board. Now, we haven't heard any other signings that are going to happen with the Fever other than, of course, Dan Restantis, which we heard about yesterday. No signings of consequence, but that could all change very quickly, or we could have to wait until tomorrow to hear about those signings. You know, the Fever front office very famously plays things close to the chest. We don't hear about these offers until they want us to hear about them. So there's a lot of chatter in the WNBA fan conversation that, are we just going to run it back? Are we not going to make upgrades? Are we doing anything at all? I very highly doubt that that is the case. I'm sure that Amber Cox and Kelly Kroskoff are behind the scenes working the phones and investigating every avenue that they can in order to make those upgrades. But we won't know about them until those upgrades are actually 100% in cement. So we could hear about those upgrades at any point in time. The other thing is that the players that we have heard about so far, by and large, are players that play positions that we don't need upgrades in. You know, we don't, like Jewel Lloyd signed for a 3-year contract with the Aces to return to them. We don't need Jewel Lloyd on our team. We already have a shooting guard in Kelsey Mitchell, right? Skylar Diggins may be signing with the Chicago Sky. There's interest there. We don't need a point guard. We have Caitlin Clark, right? So the only players that are of consequence that we have heard that we could possibly be interested in, none of them have signed with any teams yet. Gabby Williams is not signed with a team as of this recording. She plays the 3 position and would be an upgrade there. Ajay Stevens, Alanna Smith, we haven't heard about their signings yet. They play the 4. They would be people that we could potentially be interested in. So this idea that the Fever are just going to run it back without making any upgrades at all, we don't know that. I'm sure that they are efforting upgrades as we speak. But the second thing is, with a core of Caitlin Clark, Aliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell, the Fever, even absent any upgrades at all, if they were to just 100% run it back, that is still a championship core. That is still a team that absolutely can contend for a title and will contend for a title. There are a lot of teams that have made a lot of moves. I don't necessarily know that the moves that all those teams have made in sum total make them all that much better. The Sparks, right? They brought in Nneka Ogwumike. Looks like they're going to trade for Ariel Atkins, and they've also got Kelsey Plum under a core offer. But at the same time, they're going to lose, it looks like, Ajay Stevens and Derek Hamby. Does that make them an on-net better team? I don't know that it does, really. The Atlanta Dream. This is largely a team that is running it back, with the exception of bringing Angel Reese on board, who is admittedly a significant upgrade. So we've got a lot of teams making a lot of moves, but not necessarily getting all that much better. And all the Fever need to do is make one significant upgrade and then run the rest of it back, and they're going to be in good shape. And they'd be in good shape even without that significant upgrade. So we're going to wait and see what the sum total is of the Fever's offseason actions before I personally pass judgment. The fact that we have been able to capture Kelsey Mitchell for one more season, and that we can run it back with the trio of Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, and Aliyah Boston, and see what all three of them can do together, which is something that we were robbed of last season, that is an extremely valuable thing in my book, and that is something that I don't take for granted, and I hope that you don't as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the CC Report. If something else crazy happens, and it probably will, if Sophie signs a contract within the next, few hours, if Ashley Stevens or another 4 comes back to the Fever, I will make a video about that as well. I promise you that. But for now, I had to make a video about Kelsey Mitchell. I had to talk about her and what she has meant to the franchise, and about the fact that we can now look forward to seeing the core trio in a Fever uniform again. So that's been the CC Report, and we'll see you in the next one, probably in a couple of hours. Okay, bye!